Yeah, so here we are. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat and welcome back to Fiesta Wairarapa Pinoy Radio. Today is the 14th of April. Week 15 na po. Sorry. Meron na kami nabara sa lalamunan ko. So today is week 15, April 14, week 15. So samahan niyo po kami from 4 to 5:30. So spotlight of the week. Bago ako kung ano yung featured article po namin, anuin ko muna yung riddle na ni-sponsor na nabanggit ko last week. Ang sponsor po nito ay walang iba kundi yung lead host po namin na si Ate Kini po ang sponsor. So kung manalo man kayo, sa kanya kayo magpasalamat. So last week, in-announce ko na to. Walang sumagot. Ni isa, walang sumagot. So, pag-isipan na talaga natin ng seryoso kung paano natin ito dediskarte yan. Kasi, wala eh.
Siguro
sobrang hirap? Hindi naman. Wala lang talaga sigurong wala lang sigurong, hindi nila masyado pinapanood yata yung video.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, yung natin, nagtingin naman ako sa statistics ng mga uploads natin. Marami naman nanonood. Pero hindi sila interesado sa mga sa riddle, sa pakulo. Hindi sila interesado. Hindi, interesado lang sila sa mukha natin.
Hindi maganda. Salamat.
Kasi meron nag-subscribe doon sa YouTube ko. Anyway, so encourage ko lang ngayon, lumahok naman kayo sa natin sa bugtong ng linggo or riddle of the week. So uulitin po namin kung bibigyan ko ng chance itong dalawang co-host natin kasama yung sponsor mismo. May chance din siyang sumagot para mabawi niya yung pera niya. Ano po yung riddle of the week po natin? So uulitin ko. Ito po yon. Ako ay may leeg pero walang ulo. May mga bisig pero walang kamay. Ako'y dinaramtam sa init at ginaw, ngunit di ako tao o hayop sa kalawakan. So in English, I have a neck but no head. I have arms but no hands. I am dressed in heat and cold, yet I am not human nor beast. Alright, so kung alam niyo yung sagot, sagutin niyo na. Ngayon, bigyan ko kayo ng chance. Kung hindi, hintayin na lang natin na mag-comment na lang kayo doon sa Facebook page natin.
Wala akong masabi, wala akong
mag-text kayo Ryan.
So, kung maka-text kayo o tumawag kayo during our live show at the moment, instant kayo na, kung makuha niyo yung sagot, instant kayo na panalo. So, po ang tawagan nyo lang po, o i-text lang yung number 027-463-8334. That's 027-463-8334. So, yan yung sa bugtong or riddle of the week. So, ano po yung natin, yung featured article po natin for today? Politics po. Yan yung topic ko ngayon. Yung spotlight ko ngayon. So, which is New Zealand and the Philippines navigating political crossroads. So, yeah. Umpisan ko na po. Let's delve deeper into the current political landscape of New Zealand and the Philippines. Two nations facing unique yet interconnected challenges as they navigate complex domestic and international pressures. In New Zealand, Prime Minister Christopher Luxon leads a centre-right National Party government that has taken on formidable task of steering the country through post-pandemic recovery. Once celebrated globally for his early and effective response to COVID-19 under the former Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, New Zealand now grapples with the rising living cost, an escalating housing crisis, and growing social divides. Luxon's leadership style reflects his business background, emphasizing fiscal responsibility and economic growth. However, critics argue that his policies risk sidelining vulnerable communities, including the indigenous Maori population, who continue to demand greater recognition of their rights and treaty obligations. Climate change remains another pressing issue, with activists urging stronger actions to meet ambitious emission targets while balancing economic priorities. As New Zealand seeks to redefine itself in a post-Ardern era, questions loom about how effectively it can bridge societal fractures without compromising its progressive ideals. Meanwhile, across the Pacific, the Philippines finds itself at a crossroads under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., son of the late dictator whose regime was marked by corruption and human rights abuses. Marcos Jr.'s presidency has reignited debates over historical accountability versus forward-looking governance. On one hand, his administration focuses heavily on infrastructure development, agricultural modernization, and boosting investor confidence. Excuse me. All key pillars of his promise to uplift millions out of poverty. Yet concerns linger about democratic backsliding, particularly regarding press freedom and civil liberties. Critics point to and strained relations with Western allies. Critics point to lingering ties with his predecessor, Rodrigo Duterte, whose controversial war on drugs left thousands dead, and strained relations with Western allies. Geopolitically, tensions with China over territorial claims in the South China Sea remain unresolved, testing Manila's ability to assert sovereignty while maintaining trade partnerships. For many Filipinos, hope mingles with skepticism as they watch whether this administration will deliver inclusive growth or repeat patterns of elite entrenchment. Both nations stand at pivotal junctures shaped by their histories and aspiration. New Zealand wrestles with fostering unity amid increasing diversity, striving to uphold its reputation as a beacon of inclusivity and environmental stewardship. Meanwhile, the Philippines face a reckoning with its authoritarian past while attempting to chart a democratic path forward, a delicate balancing act between progress and preservation of freedoms. Their struggles mirror broader global themes, reconciling tradition with innovation, addressing inequality, and navigating the complexities of power and accountability. As these two countries forge ahead, their decisions will not only shape their own futures, but also influence regional stability and cooperation. Whether through tackling climate change, safeguarding human rights, or managing geopolitical tensions, New Zealand and the Philippines offer compelling case studies in resilience and adaptation during uncertain times. But their stories are far from over. These nations remind us that politics is never static. It's a dynamic interplay of choices, consequences, and collective hopes for a better tomorrow. So, yan lang po yung featured article po natin, yung kung ano na yung nangyayari, both yung home country po namin, or natin, na Pilipinas, at yung tinitirhan natin ngayon na New Zealand o Aotearoa. So, ano mga ano ninyo? May mga comment ka?
It's a very interesting topic that you have today, Ryan. Yeah, because it impacts the three of us, obviously.
Oh,
yeah. Interesting things happening in both countries.
So, what's happening right now at the moment? Do you know?
Sa Philippine setting, yung ano naman yung GDP tumataas naman. Economically, very good ang Pilipinas.
Yeah.
Ano lang tayo naapektuhan lang din ng Pilipinas because of Trump's tariff.
I know. That's really
so na-impose tayo ng 17%. Yun yung latest
17%
na tariff. Tapos,
pero I think sooner or later they're gonna make it into 50% as far as I heard about it.
Ewan ko kung ano pa, wala pa akong balita. Basta ang alam ko lang, nagkausap kami ni Mike earlier. Ang China ngayon ang pinakamalala kasi galing 104% na yung kanila eh.
Exactly.
Tapos tinaasan to 132 yata, 37.
I think it went up to 145 tapos ngayon mas mataas pa.
Ay, grabe naman. Affected ang China talaga.
So yan yung 17%, that's New Zealand.
Philippines.
Philippines. Okay.
Sa New Zealand, ewan ko parang ilang percent lang yun. Mababa din.
Comparatively.
Comparatively.
Yeah. But it's actually the buyers, the people in the States who buys the products that suffer the consequence of the increase in cost. Pero dahil nga mas mataas siya, wala nang kukunti yung bibili.
Tama.
Mm.
Yun nga lang.
And that
Affected talaga. Hindi lang siguro tayo,
Hindi, yung
Pilipinas. So maybe buong mundo naman.
Hindi,
siguro.
buong mundo ang pinatawan talaga.
Oh.
Kaya nga.
Pinatawan na talaga. So, meaning, kasi ang decision ni Trump, I'm not defending Trump here, pero ang decision niya, nataasan lahat ng tariff para mapilitan talaga ang Amerika na gumawa ng sarili nila. Yung mga essentials na lang talaga nila, yung yung i-bear nila yung cost. So, kasi ang impact niyan, so halimbawa, tataasan yung tariff. So, kung magpapadala ka ng saging doon galing sa Pilipinas papuntang Amerika, so 17% idadagdag. Yung mga bumibili doon sa atin, ipapatong lang naman ng ng seller, ng Philippine seller, ipapatong lang nila yung 17% na tariff doon sa produkto. So, bibili nyo ng business owner doon, sila yung mag-bear ng and then at the end, consumer yung maapektuhan.
Exactly.
So, kung halimbawa $3 per kilo yung saging, after the 17% tariff, including yung mga transport costs and stuff, baka magiging $4 per kilo na siya. So, yun yung magiging impact doon. So, hindi masyado, ang gagawin lang naman ng mga importers natin, or ng exporters natin, taasan lang nila yung nila to pay for the tariff.
Yeah.
Tatasan lang
So,
talaga nila.
at the end, it's the consumers that
The United States consumer will be affected by the increase. Sa essentials yun. Pero yung mga iba ba, katulad yan, kasi kung sila din ang mag-import, kasi sila, ang Amerika, nag-i-import din sila eh.
Oo naman.
Meaning, import, wrong term. Export.
Export.
Sila nag-export sa ibang bansa.
Oo.
So, halimbawa, mag-export sila, tapos walang masyadong tariff towards them, maliban lang sa China. Tayo nakakalibre tayo kahit papano, kasi karamihan, human resource naman yung pinabadala natin, tao eh. Hindi naman masyado products.
Yeah.
Tapos karamihan, raw materials, meaning mura. Mura.
Di ba lahat ng, or most of the mga companies from New Zealand, like yung mga gadget mo siguro yung tinutukoy doon, pinapagawa sa China, affected ba yun?
Hindi.
Yung
Ang nangyayari kasi,
Oo.
hindi naman kasi, anong ibig sabihin? Anong brand ng New Zealand ang ibig mo sabihin?
Hindi, like, mga gamit ba na doon na lang nila binibili sa China?
Ay,
yung
hindi,
mga
yung tariffs na nangyayari ngayon. Sa Amerika lang yun.
Sa Amerika
So
lang.
yung
Pero-
yung tariffs between China and New Zealand, hindi.
Wala. No, okay.
Yung tariffs between New Zealand and the Philippines,
Wala din.
wala din.
Wala.
Kasi tayo,
It's just
may
the
mga
same.
New Zealand products na nasa Pilipinas.
Pilipinas,
Oh.
oo.
Anong pinakasikat? Alam mo?
Ano
Anong pinakasikat na brand?
yung gatas? Ano ba yun?
Hindi. Gatas din siya. Tapos meron din ibang produkto.
Ano yun, te?
Frontera?
Hindi, Pontera. Yan, yung kooperatiba dito.
Yung gatas yun.
Anong brand yung sikat?
Anchor?
Angkor! Gets!
Gets.
Angkor. Galing New Zealand yan.
New Zealand product.
Yeah, of course.
Angkor,
Di ba?
Baka gusto mo hanapin yung isa tayo, yung naabutan mo, Bear Brand.
Kalimutan ko.
Sa Switzerland naman yun.
Oo.
Pero mura lang kaya doon sa Pilipinas.
Yung
Hindi mahal pa rin.
Yung Alaska.
Di, mas mahal.
Alaska domestic yan. Pilipinas yan.
Pilipinas ba yung
Pero
Alaska?
mas mahal lang angko yan. Kasi alam ko, bumibili
Hindi
ako ng
kasi
gatas.
ang Angkor, mahal talaga kasi exported siya from New Zealand eh.
Ganun din
import
naman ang
siya
Bear
ng-
Brand eh.
O yun nga, ang Bear Brand from New Zealand, kaya mura ang Alaska.
I was talking about na doon mo bibilhin sa Pilipinas. Mahal ang mura ang Bear Brand sa Pilipinas kumpara
Hindi kasi-
sa Angkor.
Hindi, kasi dahil nga din sa tariff between countries. So siguro yung tariff siguro lang ng Switzerland papuntang Pilipinas, the 2-3% lang, di mura talaga siya. Yun lang naman
Akala
yun
ko nga
eh.
yung free trade, di ba meron tayong free trade sa Southeast Asia?
No, when you talk about free trade, open lang yung channels.
Okay.
It's not about you're free
It's
of
not about
tariffs.
the
No, it's not an economic word. So,
Talagang ang US lang naman ang
Nag-impose nga.
nag-impose ng tariff.
pero sa atin between ang relationship with the ang sa feature article lang kasi ang Ang pinag-uusapan lang kung ano yung nangyayari sa bansa. Kasi tayo, kaya nga bumaba yung OCR natin eh. Ngayon,
Which is good.
for our domestic buyers,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Pero it impacts our economy as a whole. Pag binaba mo yung OCR, talaga maapektuhan yung ano natin, economy natin.
It's good though.
Kasi parang maganda pakinggan kasi mababa yung interest rate. Yes, for domestic buyers ante. Pero ito even though they are small percentage lang, pag ganun din kababa yung interest rate, then may mga ability yung mga foreign investors to buy more land here.
Yun lang.
So nawawala na yung parang national pride doon kasi mawawala na kasi yung mga may-ari, mga milyonaryo na. Katulad nung agreement ng yung very first iwi agreement with a $1 billion business na yung gagawa nung parang hub sa Waikato ata.
Oh yeah.
Na news yun, na feature yun. Kasi pinaka first yun na negotiation between a conglomerate and an iwi. Yun yung maganda masyado, positive yun for the region. Pero as a country, hindi, sila lang yung makikinabang, yung region lang.
Yung region lang. Anyway.
So, yun yung mga yun yung mga challenges diyan na and then sa Philippines naman, maganda yung GDP natin, pero yung peace and order natin doon malala.
Yun nga it's good in a way that our economy is still doing well despite the political issues that we have, which is as well
hindi political ang political you're referring to yung issue nila ni Duterte at the moment, o yung the political issue in the Philippines at the moment is natural because it's election. Pero during non-election years, hindi man yan ganun kasama. Ang crime natin doon talagang tumaas na.
At the moment
Yeah, dahil nga din yung bali control ni Duterte noon is no longer there. Yeah. Iba na kasi yung nagmamahala ngayon. I indeed heard a comment from someone. Hindi siya from the Luzon area siya. Hindi siya from the Mindanao area, which is relatively generally pro Duterte. Sabi niya ganun, the best president that made the Philippines peaceful was Duterte.
Yun nga lang, yung during his tenure, ang dami talagang patay.
Yun nga lang.
So, yun lang yung
pero
downside doon.
Pero mga pinapatay niya, mga kriminal.
Pero nonetheless, they're still humans.
It is, they're still humans.
And that's why it's...
So, kasi hindi, halimbawa,
pero ano yung
hindi, halimbawa, kung hindi mo alam na, halimbawa, sa akin, kamag-anak kong pinatay dahil doon sa drug war na yun. So tapos yan, i-comment mo sa akin, hindi ka ako magagalit sa'yo.
So, it's impacting human rights.
Pero di ba, nagtangka, there war naman, before he made an action.
Hindi, marami talaga nasagasaan ng drug war na yun.
Kasi,
hindi na dumaan sa proper justice system na process. So, yun yung nagiging downside ng tenure niya. Kaya nga ngayon, kinakasuhan.
Where is his due process then?
Yun din yung nilalaban nila ngayon. Where is his due process?
Wala siyang due process
Hindi, meron. Kasi kung walang due process yun, ano na siya, naiuwi na siya ngayon.
Wala nga talaga. Kasi yun ang ng mga Senate. Mga tao? Wala.
Yan ang pinagdadbigdib. Alam mo na, like what Kiko Hernandez had said, politics, regardless here in New Zealand or in the Philippines, is like Hollywood but no beauties. Di ba yun sabi niya? Pampagulo lang naman yung ginagawa nila Chis Escudero at ni Amy Manotoc. Yun yung nirepair mo na magulo yung due process. No.
Si Amy
pero kung si Amy Manotoc man yan siya.
Manotoc, okay.
Mrs. Manotoc man yan siya. Marcos siya. Nasa Hague ngayon si Duterte. Yes. Nakakulong siya doon. Pero hindi naman siya treated like a common criminal. Naka-house arrest siya doon sa Hague. Meaning nasa hotel siya.
Ganda nga yun.
So walang problema yun.
May park pa nga yata siya doon Nakita ko yun. May Duterte Park sa Danny.
Yung harap ng The Hague. Duterte Park na ang tawag doon.
Hindi kasi syempre like any other legacy naman kasi. May legacy talaga siyang iniwan. Kasi during his tenure talaga, pwede ka talaga maglakad ng alas 12 ng gabi na hindi ka nananakawan. Hindi ka natatakot. Ngayon balik na Ngayon yung isang comment na narinig ko just last week. Sabi niya, "Kuya, totoo ba yung balita na bumalik na daw yung tanimbala?" So So pag gano'n yun, marami na namang ayaw umuwi. Kasi may tanimbala na naman.
Tanimbala.
Yung lagay ng
Naglagay ng bala sa malet sa bagahe mo.
Tapos yan
ammunition yan siya. So bawal man yan, te. Kahit bala lang yan, wala kang baril na dala. Pero dahil may dala kang ammunition, pwede ka talaga makulong.
Yan tawag talimbala.
So that's scary to go home.
It is scary.
Yun yung nagiging downside. Pero like any other, ang logic lang kasi niyan, it's scaremongering in a way. Pero at the end of the day, wala namang pinagkaiba yan. Kung sumakay ka sa aeroplano, tapos biglang nag-crash yung aeroplano mo, ganun din yun.
Hindi, bali na.
Hindi ganun din yun. Pag tinamaan ka ng masamang pangyayari, o sakuna, whether it's tanimbala, or nawala yung maleta mo, or na it's the same, it's the same feeling of fear and frustration. Yun. Ay, yung sa aeroplanong pag-crash, ibang usapan nyo, patay ka talaga eh. So, wala kang ma-feel kasi patay ka na.
Yeah.
Pero
let's move on. Yeah, Ryan.
Okay, so ayaw nila agad sa tikini talaga tapusin. Anyway, so ang lang yung mga personal announcements ko lang po. Yung everyday English language course po natin. Magre-resume po siya sa May 3. Regular Sunday siya pa originally, pero nilagay ko siya sa May 3, 5 to 7. Sabay siya sa sports.
Kasi
para may time yung iba na pumasok doon sa classroom, para kung yung gustong manood. Sinadya ko to para yung mga hindi pa naglalaro, kung gusto nilang manood ng English class, pwede.
Okay,
that's good. Actually, is a good advert.
Rather than putting it on a Sunday, which is the regular schedule, nilagay ko ng Sabado ng gabi while the games are going. Wala namang problema yung announcer na maingay. Kayang-kaya kung ano yun sa classroom yan. Pero para at least makita nila kung gaano ka-importante yung English language course. So May 3 po siya, magre-resume Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. So doon po siya sa room 25 ng Chanel College Gym gaganapin. So yan, basic introduction, uumpisa ako balik sa session 1 for the benefit of newcomers. So gagawin ko yun. And then of course, yung Autumn Sports League namin, which will resume on the same day, May 3, at 1 in the afternoon. Mag-uumpisa siya ng volleyball. Sasabay na papasok na yung semifinals ng badminton. At saka semifinals ng volleyball yata. Hindi pa.
Pangalawa pa. Ay, oo. Second to the last.
Hindi, semifinal na yata.
Malamang.
Semifinal na yata, sabi ni Paula, sa volleyball. And then, semifinal ng badminton. Last round ng elimination ng darts. At saka last round ng elimination ng basketball. And then, the next day, May 4, yun yung final leg ng bowling.
Kaya pala.
Kaya, kasi meron siyang final leg ng bowling. Kaya hindi ko pwedeng ilagay ng Sunday yung English. Kaya nilagay ko ng Sabado. So, yun po yung dalawang event na natin, na abangan nyo po yun. So, we will post it we'll give you updates through our Facebook pages. And then, ang ko lang, personal shoutout ko lang, thank you, congratulations ulit to Ate Ami for that wonderful celebration of her 75th birthday during the weekend. Very, it was well attended, ang daming pagkain, nag-enjoy yung mga sayaw, napakaganda po. And then, in behalf of Ate Ami, nagpapasalamat po siya for everyone who attended and joined the fun and revelry. So, ang saya-saya niya, napagod talaga siya, nagpaalam na uwi na daw siya, mauna na daw siya uwi. Kasi pagod na daw siya. Siyempre, sa kakaluto ba naman sa umaga?
Anong oras ka natapos?
Mga 10 o'clock na. 10 o'clock na.
Maganda rin naman. Maganda ang
It's good.
Yeah, so yun yung again, many more years to come, Ate Ami. At meron pa akong gustong personal shout out, nakalimutan ko na, mamaya na lang pag naalala ko. So yun lang po sa akin, balik sa iyo, Ate Kin.
Okay, maraming salamat, Ryan. Let's have another song break, and this is I Want You by SB19.